G'day, and welcome to Bums on the Bench. My name's Jacko. This week, I've got the old crew back. We're all really, really tired, and none of us have good mental health at the moment, so I can't even be asked doing guests. I've got Andy and Josh with us. Hey, boys.
Oi.
Oi.
What's going on?
It's just one of them weeks, hey?
Yeah, man, I feel you. I'm fucking sick as. It sucks.
Yeah, you sound
I'm
rotten.
sick of my nose. Yeah, my nose won't stop. It's please. Someone trip it over.
Andy, please tell us you're doing better.
No, I had to spend all day editing Formula Bums while trying to actually do my real job, so I'm burnt out as fuck.
Right.
Because someone decided to desync the fucking record, Jack.
What do you mean by that? What is that? Because you said desync, and I'm like, I don't know what that means. I didn't press anything.
So, but to take the curtain back, behind the scenes, before Jack and I start recording, we do a sync test where we click into the mics, I sync it all up, I line it up on our editing programs, and then what he records and what we record at my house all lines up. For some reason, Jack's recording decided to desync like crazy, all from about the 13th minute of the Formula Bums podcast. So I'm adding time in to make it all line up. It took me 2.5 hours to edit an hour and 10-minute podcast.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's why I'm a bit burnt out.
Honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but for most people listening, they go, yeah, that sounds about normal. That's what we work at. But that's not your normal pace. Like, you can normally smash out a full edit in like 15 minutes.
I can do a full Formula Bums episode and trailers in an hour and 10 minutes.
It's a cracking episode, too. It's a cracker. Listen to it.
We've had a big week in sport, gentlemen.
We've had a fantastic week in sport.
We'll rip
Crazy.
the NRL Band-Aid off later. I want to talk about the biggest news going around, and that's to do with
Sweaty
our
men.
big sweaty men that like to slap meat.
That's me. That's me. You're talking about me.
So, all three of us love the UFC, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct.
I, on occasion, will watch the WWE, especially the Wrestlemania shows and the Royal Rumbles, because they're the best two shows of the year.
Royal Rumble is fantastic. Like, you gotta watch a line of 30 people come out and try and just throw each other over a ring. How can you not be entertained?
It's fantastic. However, 2 days ago, it was announced that Endeavour Entertainment were buying basically the majority stake in the WWE. Endeavour Entertainment also own the UFC, and they are forming a combined media fighting conglomerate where Endeavour is the parent company, WWE and the UFC will act as independent. However, El Vincenzo is still the acting executive chairman of both WWE and now the UFC. So Dana White answers to Vince McMahon.
Hold on.
That
what?
is how this company is structured. So it's the guy that runs it, Ari Emanuel.
Yep.
He's the CEO. The executive chairman is Vincenzo McMahon or Vince McMahon. If you see the mustache, you'll understand. Then you break it off, and you've got the WWE and the UFC. WWE's president is the current CEO, Nick Khan. The UFC's president is Dana White. They both answer to Vince McMahon.
Okay, so I know this is groundbreaking, but I've got a question. Does that mean they're going to use the current streaming platform that WWE kind of bases itself off for the UFC events coming forward, or are they going to stick to more main event type?
So by my understanding of this deal, and this is all rumors, the interview Vince and Ari did with CBS and other press releases, they're both going to act as independent operations. WWE is still independent from the UFC. UFC still independent from WWE. However, because they come under the same brand, guarantee you fighters are looking at the merch sales that these wrestlers are getting and are like, hey, how do I get a piece of that? Meanwhile, wrestlers are looking at the UFC as like, hey, how do I get involved with that?
Yeah, some people are actually going into wrestling more than the entertainment, but actual for the physicality of it themselves could really have a breakthrough within the UFC with this.
So here's how I see it. Theoretically, you've got your old washed-up fighters that they don't really want to properly fight anymore. They can just jump over and get a nice, easy payday over at the WWE by doing half the work.
Yep.
I say this as a fan because it's a performance, it's not a fight.
I mean, everyone knows it's scripted at this point.
It's
just
scripted, but
good
it's
to
good
watch.
to watch. Like,
No, I want to see Volk punch fucking Rey Mysterio's kid. Don't send the washed up ones. Let Volk go in there and tear him up for fucking 3 weeks. That's what I want to see.
funnily enough, Dominic Mysterio is a current signed WWE superstar and is the biggest piece of shit in the WWE. because he's been fighting his dad for the last 9 months.
I want
To
to
the
see.
point where that was the cinnamon toast crunch emoji cereal match at WrestleMania was Ray versus Dom. I'm not shitting you.
How did they work that storyline in? What, jealous in his father's shadow, wanted to make a name for
It's
himself?
very I could go this whole podcast describing this. Basically, Dom teamed up with an Australian girl named Rhea Ripley, who is goth as fuck, and everyone's just like, "Oh, she thick." She's the current women's champion. Her group, the Judgment Day, are run by like some young guy named Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Dom went to prison. Yeah, prison.
He went to prison. No way. Damn, he hard.
He crashed the Christmas party and got arrested by the cops because Ray called the cops. It's so stupid, this story, but it did lead to two of the coolest entrances of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Dom came out in a police van, handcuffed with Ray's mask on, and Ray gave a shout out to Dom's real father Eddie and came out in a lowrider driven by Snoop Dogg.
Holy shit.
Wait, so they're doing another alternate storyline where Dom's actually the son of Eddie Guerrero?
He said he wished Eddie was his real father to Ray.
Oh, damn.
But, like, seriously, we all know it's bullshit, but it was kind of cool.
Damn.
And the only thing that took away from it was all the Cinnamon Toast Crunch sponsorship.
I thought you were taking the piss.
No,
of that.
seriously, the sponsorship banners had Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and they had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch man at ringside for Ray's entrance, and he high-fived him.
The UFC has spent its entire lifespan as an organization that has wanted to consistently distance itself from the world of professional wrestling to add credibility to this mixed martial arts style competition. And now they're in bed. Like, I love the fact how they've spent all their life fighting against it. Like, they removed the ability for fighters to be sponsored. They removed the ability for fighters to do weird shit in the entrances. They really tried to make it actually about the sport of it. And now they're like, yeah, but that money looks real good. We're going to sign with them now. So I'm all
Jack,
for it.
I don't think you understand here. Meet me in the wagon wheel pit.
So, I want to go back to the merger real quick, and then I want to tell you another funny story from WrestleMania, just to really round out this conversation.
Coming this
The
summer,
UFC
Denny's SummerSlam.
So the UFC valued themselves at $12.1 billion. Meanwhile, they valued the WWE at $9.3 billion. So this TKO, which is what it's being traded under on the New York Stock Exchange, is worth $30-something billion. And they've managed to pool the money together so that they have like, I want to say like 12 or $13 billion in the bank. Like, that's how crazy this merger is.
Where did it come from? Like, is there any hints as to why this decided to occur?
I have a very conspiracy theory-esque
Love it. Hit me
idea.
with it.
Send it.
So we
need
all
to hear
know
it.
9 months ago, it comes out Vince McMahon's been diddling paralegals on the side. He's paid out a lot of money and has to leave the WWE. He has to retire and he walks away. 1 month later, the WWE is doing the best business it's ever done under his son-in-law, Triple H, who is currently the head creative writer. He takes over. He transforms this product to something that is completely unwatchable to, damn, I need to watch this because it's actually started becoming good again. 6 months later, Vince stages a coup to take back over under the impression he is selling the company. Vince hated the fact that this company was running so good without him, he had to kill it from the inside out by selling the company off. Sells it to Endeavour, gets himself a high-paying position. Meanwhile, 2 days prior to said sale, it comes out Vince has a new 2-year contract with the WWE. Him as chairman of the board, he has all this shit in place. Basically, he's getting paid $1.2 million. Money is guaranteed if they fire him for no reason or if he decides he wants to retire. He also owns the rights to everything that Vince McMahon's name is on.
Genius.
Sells the company, puts himself in a prominent position in the new company, and is now able just to walk back in on Monday Night Raw this past week and just tear up the script 20 minutes before the start show and sends 3 revised scripts, 2 after the show went off on the air.
Wow.
So he did this because he was so jealous that his son-in-law was running the company better than he was. That's my theory.
Look, it's a good theory. I have 2 points. First of all, if Vince really wanted to kill the sport, he would have sold it to the West Tigers and let them manage it for a couple of years. That would have fucking killed it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, right. Speaking of the West, I want to talk about them soon, but not about football. So remind me later. The other thing is, apart from that, I mean, genius psycho business moves by Vince, who's what, in his 60s or 70s, to like...
He's 77.
Yeah, to be ousted from a company and then manage to find your way back in, complete one of the biggest sports mergers of all time and end up in a better position with like get out of jail free cards. I don't know enough about wrestling or Vince or anything that's gone on to have any opinions on him. I will say, clearly got some good business chops, and I'm going to leave my critique there. Like, good move.
No, completely fair. Like, he is probably one of the most aggressive and smartest businessmen in the world of business these days.
I do want to just go back to the point where he thought a great plot line for Raw was him sleeping with his own daughter.
I mean, yeah.
Let's not forget this.
His wrestling storyline creative is not up for debate. He's terrible at that, but his business mind is really good.
Oh, absolutely.
However, I want to take you back to WrestleMania now. There was a lot that went right on WrestleMania Night 1.
What went wrong, though?
2 things.
WrestleMania Night 2.
First one was WrestleMania Night 2, and this is where everything...
Wait, there's 2 nights?
They made it Saturday and Sunday now.
Oh, great.
Big paydays, more matches, more time for matches.
Fair.
Anyway, second night of WrestleMania is where everything sort of started to come unravel that something's wrong. And it started with Snoop Dogg and The Miz's segment to announce the crowd figures, because The Miz was the host and Snoop Dogg was just there because it was in LA. Anyway, Snoop Dogg decides that he wants to set up The Miz in another match because the previous night he did it with Pat McAfee. And it was fucking fantastic because Michael Cole's on the thing. He's like, oh, I love Pat. Pat's awesome. Like, just losing his mind because he loves Pat McAfee. Don't know why, but he's really cool. Second night, Snoop's like, I'm going to do it again. I rap, you wrestle, do your thing, is the quote. Anyway, he's like, here's your opponent, and it's none other than the best wrestler in the world, Shane McMahon. Colonel McSweaty Bullets ran to the ring.
Money, man!
He is completely out of breath by the time he gets to the ring. You can hear him on the mic. He's trying to say, what's up, WrestleMania? He's like, what's up, WrestleMania?
Is he still chubby as hell?
Oh, it's chubby as hell. He was already wet, sweating like crazy the moment he got in the ring. Anyway, he starts beating on The Miz with his fake UFC punches, and he whips The Miz into the ropes and does a leapfrog. So he just jumps over him, lands awkwardly on his knee, and tears his quad. 33 seconds into it.
I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you right there. I want to make sure that I'm awake, because what you're telling me is that somehow in the year 2023 of our Lord and Savior, Jesu Christo, that Snoop Dogg somehow fucked up WrestleMania. Is that what you're telling me, Andy? Because I don't know what's real anymore.
No, Snoop Dogg saves this segment something hard because you audibly hear Shane McMahon yell, I'm fucked, to the referee. And the referee's sitting there. You can see her with her hand in the ear, like, what the fuck do I do? What the fuck do I do? Miz is just like motioned to Snoop Dogg to come in the ring. Snoop comes in, lays in a stiff punch on the Miz, knocks him to the ground. Miz gets back up, Snoop punches him again, and then hits the Crip Walk elbow.
Yep, I saw that.
Pins the Miz in the ring and saves the segment. And it's the greatest thing I've ever seen because Snoop Dogg cannot run the ropes. He taps off the ropes, drops the stiffest elbow I've ever seen, gets up, starts Crip walking as he wins.
I'm sorry, man. Look, I don't know what's real anymore. Like, I don't know what's happening. Like, first of all, I was blown away when you were like, yeah, Snoop Dogg was there. I was like, okay, Snoop, he's cool. He's always cool. And then you were like, yeah, he just set up 2 random matches. One dude tore a muscle in his leg, and he bounces off the rope, Crip walks, elbow, does a Crip walk, elbow someone, Crip walks away. What the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, are you listening to what you're saying?
Dude, I had to watch it and I was thoroughly sports entertained.
Lil Uzi was on it too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Lil Uzi came out and rapped for a little bit before one of the main
apparently
events.
He's going to be in the next WrestleMania, like performing.
That wouldn't shock me. Bad Bunny did it.
Didn't Bad Bunny get his ass kicked?
Yeah, but he was really good at it, and now
let's
he's teaming with Rey Mysterio next month in Puerto Rico. Apparently,
I
not
thought
confirmed yet.
Bad Bunny was the Cash Me Outside girl.
No,
That's Bad Baby.
Right, okay, you understand my confusion. All right, cool. So, all right, 'cause I was like, the Cash Me Outside girl was in WrestleMania. That's sick. Speaking of which, Vince, if you're listening, you know who we want to see next year. I want her to walk out to Cash Me Outside remix and just gutter stomp some dude. That's what I want. So WrestleMania,
I mean,
Good.
Jack's right. Yeah, no, fuck yeah, let's go.
look, we all know that mustache man isn't listening to this, and even if he was, he'd be like, "That's a bad idea. I'd tear it up straight away." And
You'd
then
be
he'd
like-
get like Snooki out there again.
what the fuck did you just say? What, Snooki was what? What?
Snooki was on Raw.
Snooki was at WrestleMania in a match, and it was terrible.
Oh,
And
she
it
was
had-
also on Raw for like a few weeks at
yeah,
one point.
to
wasn't
build up to that said
it?
match.
Oh god.
Anyway, let's stop talking about a fake sport and let's talk about real sport because we've got, I don't know,
That went for longer than I thought.
that went way longer than
But I
I
had
thought.
so much fun.
Yeah, sorry, you
The only other
guys.
thing I want to say is, Cody should have won.
Right.
He ruined my bet.
I
Dra-
think I
dramatic as
need.
fuck.
What, you can bet on fake wrestling?
You can bet, yeah. And I had 6 or 7 in my multi.
You know, it's technically not bad because I mean, you don't know
It's
the
still
outcome.
it's still an athletic competition as far as betting's concerned. The only people that know are the people behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
can still bet on it.
Oh no,
You just have to know the
They're looking at-
storyline better.
Yeah, and that's basically what it comes down to. How's the storyline going? That's how they
Is
determine
that
the odds
not
and stuff.
easy money though?
You'd think so. I had 6 of 7, and then they booked Roman to win. But
Yeah, because
I don't want to.
Roman's going for another year until
Yeah,
they get
easily.
what's his name
It's
in.
a fucking joke. No, if he loses to The Rock,
No,
with
no,
those
no.
titles?
Apparently, they're thinking of doing a new WrestleMania lineup. I can't remember who they said Roman was against, but it was like, I think it's Cody. I think they're gonna have Cody do a John Cena face turn and then turn him into like
Cody was who he literally just voiced.
again.
For the first time, and that's who I had because he's had the finish my storyline arc, which is I have to win the title my dad was never allowed to win. That was the story. The story was set up perfect. Even on night 1, they took the tag titles off his cousins. Like, it was set up perfectly. I want to move on and talk about the NRL now because I'm getting very frustrated.
That's
at
fair.
it really pissed me off. So let's talk about the NRL, and let's start with the West Tigers because they fucked up.
And I think we all saw yesterday on our various social medias that Anzac round's coming up. And for anyone who's international, Anzac Day is a commemorative day where it's Australian New Zealand Army Corps. It's a day where we pay respects to soldiers from World War I to currently for the sacrifices they've made for us. It is a very almost like sacrosanct spiritual day in Australia and New Zealand, the way we look at it. We're not the most patriotic country in the world, except for Anzac Day. NRL
And
every year does specialised commemorative jerseys, and there's a very big traditional game on Anzac Day, which mine and Josh's team plays Andy's team in every year.
And we're going this year.
I'm so excited.
The West Tigers are, I want to go out on a limb and say, a hard luck team. And I think they've been that way for about 15 years. They're not doing too good. They released a jersey that featured American soldiers instead of...
Wait, what?
Yes. So their jersey, has US forces on their jersey, and they released it. Now,
Yeah.
I want to get it out of the way first before I start hammering them for it. I don't actually care. I don't care. This is a Steven issue. Yes, they signed off on it, but there's so much more that goes into producing these jerseys than just some dude at West Tigers who goes like, I think this would look sick. But, yes.
Can I just go real quick? The Tigers did come out to defend it. They're like, look, we were just trying to go for a more modern take with the soldiers in the desert at the moment.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But at least use a photo of Australian soldiers, not a stock photo of iStock or whatever.
Yeah, look,
You know what I
their
mean?
defense was one of those ones how it's like, oh, we really didn't think anyone would notice kind of deal. Like, oh, we were trying to like make it about the current or like the more recent conflicts we've been in. It's like, yeah, there's heaps of photos of our boys over there too.
Yeah.
Use that one. I found that post on Reddit, and I want to shout out a few of the very, very creative people on Reddit because the best comment I ever saw on this was some guy goes, I don't know what's happened here, but I know this is Luke Brooks's fault. And then someone wrote Call of Dewey.
Oh, wow.
That's my take on the Tigers. Look, don't do the same
They
mistake
are
again.
redesigning it.
Oh, are they? Wow.
They have come out and said they will be redesigning it this year now, due to everything that has happened. And then the top comment is, can they use the?
Please put the Viet Cong on the jersey. It would be so funny.
I'm sorry, but the top comment is, can they use the image of Dewey faking a cramp?
Josh, what are your thoughts?
I'm just currently looking over some of the jerseys. I gotta admit, the Warriors one is one of the best. Like, damn, that is a sick jersey, actually.
They always have good ones.
They, like, that's that one. Like, so you got the fern leaf kind of coming up with the New Zealander design. You got the poppies underneath. That's so nice.
That is really
good.
good.
Clean as hell. And then obviously the Dragons one is just sick. I'm
And
sorry, what is the Roosters one though?
It's probably going to be the light blue again.
No, it's even worse.
No, that's a polo shirt, you know.
Oh, it is too. My bad.
No, they'll wear the Raffies light blue, like they normally do.
It'll have to be so on the draw thing they send out to the members, it was a light blue instead of a dark blue for that one. So I'm assuming that means they're going with the light blue jersey this year.
Yep, and
that's what they've done the past few years. It goes light blue and then they walk out with the light blue jersey.
yeah,
And it'll probably have like a poppy there or something on the chest.
because the Roosters are partnered with the Air Force for Anzac Day round, and the St. George partners with the Army for Anzac Day round. So that's why you get the light blue, because that's actually the colour of the Royal Australian Air Force. They have that light blue, the sky blue colour.
Do you know the story behind the Roosters wearing that sky blue though? Besides that,
No.
so back in World War II, I want to say all the dark blue and like the dark colours were actually put aside for the armies and stuff fighting over in World War II. So they actually had to dye the jerseys lighter colours because that's all they had. So there's images out there of the doggies in a maroon and light blue jersey. There's like obviously the Roosters playing in the light blue instead of the dark blue, and like it was a really big thing, and they had to take all that dye away from the clubs, and that's why they were running out in those jerseys. And the Chuggies like to basically remember the past in a way by using that design as much as possible for Anzac Day, because it is a really good tie-in for that day. Just saying, like, here's what the jersey was back then. We remember the past. We know we're going to win this year.
You had to put that in.
I did have to put that one in.
And like
there.
it's Anzac Day, bro, so we can't even be like, shut up, fuckwit. Like it's
I mean, if last year was anything though, shut up, fuckwit.
yeah. Marnie should have
had your 2
been
wins for the year.
walked, bro.
You mean Tupou?
Also
Manu
him.
didn't do anything wrong.
Yes, I do mean him. Leave me alone. It's been a long day.
But I would like to talk about mine and Jack's fantastic team, because God, what a fucking game. That was just phenomenal from the draft. I don't know where it came from.
I do.
They told
I
Hook he
told
had
you last
5
week.
games.
Yeah.
They told
You
Hook.
had 3. You get 3 wins a year. You've already had 1. You stole that trade from the Dragons. That's 2. So you had to get your 3rd one out of the way. So you'll lose everything for the rest of the year.
Oh, when we win at Anzac Day, I'm going to feed you so hard.
Oh, I expect that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
still.
To put it in perspective, how intense Anzac Day game got between our friendship group last year, Andy was kind enough to buy us all tickets in the fucking Roosters grandstand. There's a sea of blue jerseys around us. Josh and I and Andy, we all had mainly me and Josh had a fair bit to drink. And at the end of it, a group of Roosters fans turned around in front of us, shook our hands and said, you know what, fellas, that was the funniest game of football we've ever been to. And Josh and I were crying and hugging in the grandstands.
Can I point out that you two pussies put both mine and your brother's girlfriends in between us?
That was for everyone's safety.
Actually, no, I want to put that out. I didn't put that. Luke was actually sitting next to me at the time.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Luke wasn't happy with me at the end of it.
I just remember me and Luke sitting there going, this is not going to end well.
On the drive home, we were singing, we had the music blaring, we were in an Porto, we were going berserk. I ended up texting, and I don't think I've ever told you boys this, I ended up texting Luke, my little brother's partner. I was like, how's the drive home? And she replied with one word, quiet.
So, to clarify this story, my partner and myself, we went and picked Luke and his partner up, and we drove up, and this was the Chooks car. Me and Luke were psyched the whole way up. We were like, yeah, we're going to flog these pricks. we got to Central Station. We were depressed. And Luke looks at me and he goes, "We don't speak." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's fair." And because the train was so full, I was away from all of them. I didn't see them until Sutherland. We got in my partner's car. Me and Luke just looked at each other and we just sat there in silence.
Turn the radio off.
We couldn't think of any until Luke really needed to pee about 15 minutes from his house. So Renee pulls over, lets him out of the car, and I look at Tori and say, "Shut it and drive off." Tori chose not to because she didn't want to put Luke in an even worse mood that night.
She's like, "Yeah, I have to live with this prick."
Would have been hard.
It was a great day. And look, we're doing it again this year, aren't we? We're all going?
Yes.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
There's only 2 Chookies fans this year, though, and it's me and your dad.
There's actually more Dragons fans this year too. That's the best part.
Yeah, but your dad will beat you if you cheer too hard.
Just because he looks like Chopper Reed doesn't mean shit. He might hurt me, but it's okay.
How? Because now that we're on the NRL, I feel like we need to have a quick. Have we introduced this tipping competition we're in and the punishment involved? Have we spoken about that on air yet?
We haven't spoken about the punishment, but we have spoken that we are in a tipping competition, and unfortunately, us 3 are in the last 3 places.
So
I'm last.
Yeah. So right now, Josh, he's sitting on the punishment. Jacko, do you want to explain what the punishment is?
I will, because when this group chat came out, like, "Hey boys, let's do a tipping comp," I am famously bad about checking my phone. Like, I can't stand having a phone. I hate that people have the ability to talk to me at any point. It gives me the shits. But our group of mates and a couple of the dads all decided that we're going to do a tipping comp. I didn't read the rules of the competition until you, Andy, asked me about how many cheeseburgers do you think I can eat. Because if you come last in this bloody competition, you have to spend 24 hours in a McDonald's with a fins up dolphin fin. But for every cheeseburger you eat, you get an hour off your time. I'm feeling better about it because when I was informed of this punishment, I was coming last by a lot. And I remember sitting on Andy's couch and he was like, "Look, man, you just need to tip better." And I was so devastated. I was already doing the math in my head to be like, I reckon I could eat 18. Well, I genuinely think I could eat my way out of this challenge if I had to. But now Josh is coming last.
So I just want to highlight the fact that between 8th and 4th is 4 points. Between 4th and 1st is 9 points.
Yeah, whoever's leading's like really kicking our ass.
Now, would you like to know who is currently leading this competition?
Is
Is it your
Matt's
fucking dad?
No, it's mine.
Oh, it's your dad. That's even funnier.
I don't
And
know.
like,
He has the dad magic.
Look, here's my only strategy. I don't want to come last.
No, neither do I. I
Oh, yeah,
want
so
Jack in last.
I'm playing for
I
7th
just wanna
place
make
this
sure
year.
My aim is 6th or higher.
Yeah, I want 5th, so I can beat you two at least.
You boys
And
are
then
idiots.
Well, it looks
I
like
want
it
7th.
looks like it's just us 3 right now.
And Mac. Mac's 1 point with us.
Fair enough then. So we're all shit
So you got
basically.
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 26, 30.
Yeah.
And the dads are just 1st and 2nd.
That doesn't shock me though. They watch more footy than us.
Mac's dad doesn't watch that much footy.
That makes it even worse.
If not, like, maybe a couple games, 1 game a week.
Fucking hell.
He
I
told-
just want to point out that the ones I've lost, they're the close games. I haven't lost the blowouts yet. I haven't been beaten in a blowout. It's just been the ones that are finishing like the other team gets it by like 1 or 2. I was like, you fucking bastards.
Like
Like
what was
the
the
doggies
game?
last week, 1 fucking point.
Yeah.
I
Or
had that game going.
Warriors.
Don't
Yeah, I don't get how Warriors did it. They just were better.
This is bullshit. Anyway, I didn't
You
tip the
reckon
Roosters
last
this week.
weekend
I can't-
sucked? Have you looked at who's playing this weekend? There's like 6 games that I have no clue.
Yeah. These 50-50 games are killing me.
I would have an opinion on every single one of them, and anything that I pick the opposite.
All right, so Roosters, Melbourne, and
Uh,
Melbourne.
Okay, no, don't pick the opposite. I actually still will pick Storm on this one.
Yeah, I'm picking the Storm on
Yeah,
this
like-
one. That's how little faith I have in my team this week. Doggies, Rabbitohs.
Rabbits.
Yeah, Rabbits.
Absolutely.
That's the easy one.
Did
Dolphins,
Storm.
North Queensland. This is my first one.
Dolphins.
Oh, no. What
They're
the
paying
fuck are you guys talking about?
$3.40.
Yeah, Josh.
Dolphins.
Cowboys.
What?
Cowboys.
Are you kidding?
No.
The 3 times I've tipped the...
Isn't Drinkwater out?
No, Drinkwater's back.
Oh.
See, I've
Maybe I'll
tipped
go
the
back to
Cowboys
then.
3 times, and they've lost every time. So I'm thinking about swapping to the Dolphins before tomorrow night.
I think Dolphins have a lot to prove after last week.
Here's another one. Penrith Manly.
Penrith, they're at home.
$3 for Manly right now. I like
They
those.
lost last week, didn't they?
No, they drew with Newcastle.
That's right. I'm picking Manly.
I
I'm going
really
for it.
like Manly at $3 right there. Brisbane, Canberra,
Brisbane, easy. That's the easiest one of them.
Brisbane.
Your Mob versus the Titans.
Up at Gold Coast, though. Like, it would go to the Titans.
Didn't you pricks beat them in round 1?
No, yeah. I don't have faith. Like,
I don't even have faith
I'm
in them.
scared.
I've
Dragons.
tipped the Dragons right now. That might get changed.
I have picked the Dragons. though.
Dragons. I
Warriors
tipped the
v
Dragons.
Newcastle.
Knights. Easy.
Knights.
Knights.
Warriors.
Nah, Knights. I
Actually,
reckon
no.
After last week, Knights are riding a high.
Actually, no, I'm changing it because the Warriors came out and said they only had 5 people at practice today because of the fatigue. I'm changing that. And, of course, we've got Walker Blake versus the West Tigers.
But hold on. Here's the thing.
Eels
With the
got this so easy.
with the Knights versus Warriors, you haven't calculated the number one thing. The Knights are at home, which means they're
Yeah, they
guaranteed to lose. They never win at home.
Why did I pick the Roosters by 5?
Why would you do First of all, 5 is a really odd number to pick in rugby league. Second
so
of all,
strange.
why pick the Chooks against Melbourne in Melbourne?
I couldn't tell you.
Even I'm not doing that. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
that
don't even-
stupid.
I don't even know why I picked half my tips in this one.
Anyway, I actually thought of a story I wanted to tell you, gentlemen, because I went to the Chookies Eels game last week with an Eels fan.
Yeah, tell us all about it.
I thought you guys would really like this. So, Para obviously warmed up in front of us because I chose the wrong end to sit at, but not too bad. My workmate Eli was there. He's like, I love you, Matto. I hate you, Walker Blake. Mika Sivo, you got thick thighs. The classic thing that you do in warm up.
You
He
gas
was
the
really
boys up.
confident. He was really confident until the first try.
Yep.
And then the depression started to sink in because Walker Blake kept running overs to the left-hand side and giving Micah Sivo no room. Therefore, the Chooks pushed them out. He watched Micah Sivo kick back infield when he could have just steamrolled over Pylor. What else did we see? We saw the break that Egan Butcher scored on that get taken back, and he was really happy about that for about 30 seconds until the Roosters ran in again. We got to see the 2 sin bins really close because they were right in front of us, and both of them were sin bins. I feel like Bailey Simonson killed James Tedesco.
Dude, Simonson once again had a classic Simonson game.
Yeah,
Like,
it was just
why
not-
do Eels still have him? Like, as a centre, he could really just be fucked off.
Well,
And-
here's your response. Walker Blake still has his jersey, so if he has a jersey, Bailey Simonson needs a jersey
Yeah, that's fair.
because Walker Blake is not good to the point where he approached Rugby Australia this week.
Didn't Nelson Solomona also have a meeting with Rugby Australia?
He's New Zealand though, as Paul Kent said. He plays for the All Blacks if he goes to rugby. Why would he play for the Wallabies? Why?
So, not about Wallabies, but about a code switch in general, I think.
Well, I think he'd make more money over there purely because he's probably going to get squeezed out sooner rather than later down in Melbourne. And it's not the end of the world if he gets dropped by Melbourne. Let's be real.
Does anyone else have any more NRL stories? Because I have an independent UFC one I'd like to bring up. Volk's next fight's been announced.
Yeah, go for it.
So, coming off Volk's loss to Kamaev or Makachev.
Makachev.
Volk has been announced to fight. I want to say his name is Yair Rodrigo. It's the guy in the featherweight division who, on the undercard, absolutely pasted Josh Emmett in like this is the next one.
Is he the one that won the interim title?
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a sick fight.
Yeah. And I'm just making sure I've got his name correct right now. Yeah, Yair Rodriguez. I originally came out when we were talking about the UFC, like episode 1, saying, look, Volk is so dominant in his division, there's only one person I believe that can actually fight him properly, and that's Yair Rodriguez. Because if you've never seen this dude fight, he's so flexible, he's so athletic, he's so explosive. Like, this dude does cartwheels and kicks people in the head and knocks them out. So
yeah, it's going to be a good fucking fight.
it's going to be a very good fight. I think Alexander Volkanovski will absolutely paste him like he does in most of his fights. I still don't think that Yair will beat him. But if you're a fight fan, that's the next big one coming up for our boy Volk.
Sponsored by Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Sponsored by the WWE. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm a massive Volk fan, so I can't wait.
That's going to be a good fight. I did have one more NRL story I just thought of.
Go for it.
Last week we talked about how the Parramatta Eels sat down with Clint Gutherson and said that they wanted an X-Factor fullback. And Gutho was like, yeah, all right, I'll move to the centres if that's what you really want if we're going to win games. What I seen in person last week with him at fullback, I don't care if you bring an X-Factor player in and he scores one try. Gutho saved so many tries last week, it's not funny. That kid needs to be at the fullback role. He ripped the ball out of Radley's hands when Radley was going over in his 100th game.
And as he's falling off a tackle, sticks his foot out and kicks the ball from another player's hands going over the line.
Yeah. Gutho is one of the best defensive fullbacks, and the fact Parramatta are like, nah, we want an X-Factor fullback, they're so dumb.
So
they are so dumb.
Have come out and walked that back a little bit in the media. It was a quieter story because it wasn't as exciting, where they kind of went, well, like, oh no, we want to get another X-Factor fullback for you to train when you're done. Like, they've walked it back significantly since that original statement because they went, oh shit, he's really, really good. He's still got it. Actually, Clint, we want you to train your replacement eventually style. I think that's just a bit of bullshit because they were like, oh, he's actually heaps good. And the fans went, absolutely not. Like, Gutho and Moses are Parramatta. They're the two boys that everything's based on there.
Yep, and they just didn't click last week. They didn't look like they turned up at the Chookies game. Like, they was 16-2 going into halftime. Gutho got a lucky try going into like the start of the second half, and there was just a walk in the park for the Roosters. And the last two tries they got because literally all the starting players came off the field for the Roosters. Like, Hargraves got an early mark, Radley got an early mark. You know, all
Teddy got an early mark.
Not by choice.
He got a fucking really big early mark.
I mean, if we're talking about anyone really shit in the bed, though, I mean, we should definitely be talking about the Milk versus Panthers game.
Oh my god!
I don't know what happened to Milk in that.
I can tell you what happened. Fighting was out.
Yeah, Jack
like
White
a lot of their Danny Levi wasn't out. Xavier Savage wasn't in there. Like, 3 of their key spine players weren't playing.
They were so disjointed. I remember watching them get up to the Panthers side of the field, and I was talking to Seki at this time, and I was like, they're making a breakaway. They're about to get a try. I'm like, watch them fuck it. Over the try line, fumbles it.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me. Like, Canberra don't function without Whiten, and it's really telling with the offer they put towards Whiten this morning, because as we know, Whiten decided he wanted to test the free market. They gave him a 4-year, $4.4 million contract offer today.
So they clearly are planning on keeping him.
They cannot afford to lose Jack Whiten. Jack Whiten at the Dolphins, probably not $4.4 million over 4 years. The only clubs chasing Jack Whiten right now are the Dolphins, the Doggies, the Tigers, and the Milk. Now, name me which of those 4 clubs look like a premiership contender at the moment.
Doggies.
I meant at the moment, not 3 years from now. Doggies.
I mean, like, out of all of them, Doggies.
Doggies need a halfback. Doggies will not win the premiership this year because they don't have a halfback.
Dolphins won't win.
Dolphins won't win.
Milk won't win.
Milk is the best bet for him because of how much they've given him. And they built
absolutely for him, yes.
No, that's what I'm talking about. For him.
Absolutely. I agree.
With him in the
Milk. But if he's not happy, though.
I understand that, but here's my thing. Like, the Doggies, they need a halfback. They should spend their money there. Dolphins need an X-Factor player. Fair enough going after Whiten. Tigers need a whole revamp. Do not go for Whiten.
No,
30-year-old
player.
Revamp.
Just fucking fly Luke Brooks. You've tried everything for 10 years except for just going, all right, 13. Brooksy, 13. You're not playing this week. You're having a break, man. We've tried coaches. We've tried board members. We've tried training staff. We've tried every position on the field but one, and he's still there.
Actually, you just brought up a very, very good point I wanted to bring up before we close up. So, the other night on NRL 360, they were talking about the West Tigers recruitment under the current CEO. I'm just going to give you a list of people that he signed. Matt Ballon at the end of his career, he only played 3 games for the Tigers. Elijah Taylor played 80 games but did nothing. Jamal Idris signed in 2017. He was on his way out. He played 5 games for the Tigers. 2018, they re-signed Chris McQueen for 10 games. Ben Madalino played 36. Russell Packer played 33. Moses Mbai played 63. Mane Fanoa played 21. Robbie Farah came home, played 30 games. And Josh Reynolds played 22 games. Name an X factor in that. 2019, they brought in Ryan Madison, best signing of the bunch. He played 24 games and then said, nah, I'm good, I'm left. 2020, they brought in Joey and Luciano Leilua. Joey played 21, Luciano played 56. Both of those bad signings.
Best center in the game, though.
2021, they signed James Roberts, James Tarmo, and Ken Marmelo. Ken Marmelo was released literally this year. James Tarmo played 38 games and nearly retired after being suspended. James Roberts, well, he was a problem child to begin with. It wasn't going to end well. 2022, they signed Tyrone Peacher, who only played 13 games, and they brought in Jackson Hastings, who, while we all know the off-field issues with Jackson Hastings, he played 16 games for him and fucked off to Newcastle.
And won some of those games. Like, Hastings won those games that he did well in.
Yeah, and so that's been the recruitment since Justin Pascoe's come in as the CEO at the Tigers. I think there needs to be a board revamp. They need a coach overhaul, and they need a player overhaul, and it starts by getting Luke Brooks' contract off their books. Get rid of him. They've got a bit more money to spend.
How much are they paying him per year?
1.1. Because
For what he does.
Because Moses, Teddy, and Woods left, and they panicked and signed Brooks for 1.1. That's the Tigers for you.
I mean, it's showing now their mismanagement over the past 4 years is just very telling of everything.
It's been longer than 4 years. It's been nearly.
It's really hammering down because like you remember there was always each year you always had that one team that was like you felt sorry for them. You had the Titans, you had the Broncos. Tigers have just been it for ages.
So I want to go back to that Broncos comment you made. 2 or 3 years ago, the Broncos decided, we need a clean out. They took a lot of big money players, flicked them on. They rebuilt. They sucked for 2 years. Now look at them right now. They're leading the comp. Took 2 years to do a proper rebuild at Brisbane, and Brisbane looks scary again.
God, but they had such good juniors, though.
I know. Tigers have one of the biggest catchments in the NRL. They could also have good juniors that they don't know about. They're just too busy looking for old and busted players to try and save them.
Bro, their juniors went on to be New South Wales and Australian captains.
Yes.
Yeah. And
like that
Blues halfbacks and Australian halfbacks and props like Teddy, Moses, and Woods. Woods is a bit of a hit and stick at the moment. But in his prime, he changed the role of a front rower. He invented the spinning tackle offload. Like, he changed the game when he was in his prime. Teddy is still one of the best fullbacks we've ever seen. And Mitch Moses is a premiership able to win halfback. Yes, they haven't done it yet, but he's got the talent to do it. They're phenomenal players. Those are their 3 last juniors who kind of fled the coop. They've got, like, their junior catchment, as you said, is one of the biggest, but it's also where some of the best players come from.
Exactly. So the Tigers have the pieces to sort of rebuild. They just need to pull the trigger. They really just need to pull the trigger on it.
But you reckon the board's holding them hostage?
I reckon Luke Brooks has something on them that is keeping him in that role. And until they can get rid of Luke Brooks, and this isn't a knock at Luke Brooks. I think Luke Brooks is a fantastic backup player, a fantastic English Super League player. He's probably a fantastic halfback in another club. The
Correct.
Tigers and him need to divorce ASAP if the Tigers want to do anything.
Oh, 100% agree, mate.
They won't. That's the problem.
Yep.
But do you reckon it's that he has something on them, or do you reckon the board have this just stick that they cannot remove, and it's just fixation? Even now, seeing what's happening.
Luke Brooks has been paid on potential for 13 years. It's time to pull the pin. If I'm a board member, I'm pulling the pin on Luke Brooks.
There has to be a reason they're not.
There has to be a reason they're not pulling the pin and trying to get rid of him. Anyway.
That's a conspiracy theory. We're not delving into that one.
Nope.
We'll leave that to the professionals at NRL 360 to just make shit up all the time.
That's where we get our stuff from, because they've said it first. It's okay.
Yeah. Like with this whole Tigers jersey drummer, one of the comments online I saw was Paul Kent, in quote marks, "I don't know how, but I can't believe Ivan Cleary's done this." Like, gentlemen, let's end on a positive, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. I got nothing. What do you got?
You look really nice today.
Shut the fuck up. Thank you very much for listening. We've been Bums on the Bench. Our social media is at Bums on the Bench everywhere you listen. I've been Jacko. Josh, let them know what your voice sounds like.
Hello.
Andy, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.